Hi, I'm Brett Aitken, head SASI cycling coach. I represented Australia for the last time 25 years ago at the Sydney Olympics and won Olympic gold. And that's what was almost perfect on the night. I probably we never rode a more perfect Madison than we did when it counted in this moment. So I think that's what made it so special as well, is that sport in itself, so many things can just go wrong, like when at the best of times, you got to have your good luck every now and then. And fortunately we had it in this. How we communicated was innate. It was almost like, just a look, funny when I think about it, because my daughter had Rett syndrome, and Rett syndrome affects coordination, communication, and she couldn't physically talk at this time, and the way they communicate is through facial expressions, and that's about all you get in a Madison. You get maybe 1 second to get a word out or say, watch this team, but a lot of the time it's just a look. Yeah, follow that team. Yeah, or we're on for this sprint. And it's funny because I had that same connection with my daughter as well. So this is probably one of the best moments, I guess, because there's still attacks going. So like the Argentines, they ran second at world titles the year before. We have to chase them still. Like, it's still possible that a team could take a lap in 10 laps, even though it's a 240 lap race. So all I'm doing is just following anything that moves at the moment, and have no intention of trying to lead the front. I just don't want anything to go off the front. But yeah, it is a really nice moment at the moment, because right now it's starting to settle in that we actually have won the race. Because we don't even have to sprint for the double points at the end. So it's actually worth twice as many points to win the final sprint. So it usually counts for quite a lot. 10 points when you normally only win 5 points for a sprint. But we're already over 10 points in front of everyone else. So we can actually enjoy the moment almost. Well, there's obviously some really fond memories of that day, but I don't know, they're just like little snippets, glimpses of just little things that happened in the lead up to that day. It was such a blur after we won, but before there were just little things, that made a bit of a difference, and for me, probably the biggest difference of all was actually the decision to go and see my daughter. Sort of leading up to it, I was away for quite a long period overseas, preparing for the Olympic Games with the national team. And initially I said I didn't want to see Ashley, my daughter, but and she was only 2 years old at the time. But then it was something just sort of overwhelmed me that I just felt like I needed to, and so I made the effort to go out and see her. And the last bit of motivation that I needed was actually just seeing her, but probably an hour before the start, because everything I'd worked for that year was had been inspired by her. It was never going to get better than that moment. So and I realised that there was nothing that could ever cap this moment of winning in front of your hometown, in front of your family, home country, the best crowd I'd ever, and loudest crowd I'd ever heard in my life, and it was, everything about it was special, and there was just no way I could ever cap that. So it was the perfect way to finish my career. We knew we had a good, not strategy, but we knew we gelled well together. We actually hadn't raced in the previous sort of 4 months together leading up to this event. It had been quite a gap. But we just knew how to race Madisons, and we weren't youngsters. We'd been to Olympics before this, before we got to this moment. So Scott, went to the '88 Olympics. Took him 12 years to get back. I went to the '92 and '96 Olympics, and it was my third time having a crack, but the Madison was only introduced in Sydney 2000, and that was when we both sort of knew that we could win this. We had the ability. We were definitely confident enough that we believed in ourselves, because there were so many other good teams around us at the time. But you can never count your chickens before they're hatched in a race like that. So no, there was never a moment that we were relaxed leading into it. There was never a moment that I believed that the race was done and dusted until we were inside the last 10 laps. Yeah, it's just gone like a flash, and I mean, I don't think I would have, even a year later, have as much recollection as I do 25 years later. Like there was so much razzle and dazzle, that sort of happened straight after winning an Olympic gold medal in your home country. But so a lot of that was a blur for me. But yeah, as I said before, it was those moments beforehand, and it was a journey, for me. Like, it wasn't the destination. It wasn't the. I mean, winning the Olympic gold actually did change my mindset about it. So many things in terms of to be able to, thinking back to when I was, really young, 7. I started bike racing when I was 7 years old. So it was 22 years of bike racing leading up to that point. And dreaming of winning Olympic gold from a very young age, and that was the really fulfilling moment of it, was knowing that you can dream big and you can win, by dreaming big. So so actually, that is a message that I convey even today, to my to the kids that I coach now, is that you want to win Olympic gold, no one's going to hold you back. Like, you just got to believe it. You just got to go with it, and you got to just got to run with it. So, but yeah, the things that happened on that day pale in comparison, really, to the build up, to the adversity and hurdles and all the things that we had to overcome just to get there. And that's what made it special for us. Like, it was not just the fact that we won Olympic gold. We could have done it with a breeze, but it wasn't. It was an extremely difficult time just to get to the Olympic Games. Really just trying to convey some of the things I've learnt over. It's been a 40-year career now, going back to probably even longer, like 45 plus years, if I think back to my cycle speedway days, when I started racing bikes. So it's there's been a lot of learnt lessons, a lot of mistakes made, and a lot of it is really like the psychological aspect of sport, and trying to instill belief in the athletes, that they have my support, and that it is a long-term process. Like, it doesn't happen overnight, unless you're an Ian Thorpe, for example, who was a youngster, but when he won gold in Sydney. But it's really about instilling some of the values and the qualities of what it takes to be the best in the world, and that's really what I offer. I don't. I'm just trying to give what I know, and pass it on to the up and coming cyclists, so that they can go and compete at Olympic Games themselves. One of my proudest moments is happened in Paris 2024. Even though I wasn't there as a coach, but I'd coached when I first started, just before I came into the SASI head coach role. I was working with SASI as a talent ID and state development coach, and a few of the kids that I worked with then, Chloe Moran, Maeve Plouffe, Sophie Edwards, they were all in that sort of group before they were even SASI athletes. And then we sort of come up together, and then to watch them compete with another SASI athlete in Alex Manley, at the Paris Olympics, all on the same team, was pretty phenomenal. To think that we had 4 SASI athletes competing in an event that you can only have 4 athletes representing your country, and that was a pretty proud moment. Yeah, it's unreal, especially because just in the last 12 months we've seen some incredible juniors coming through our program. We just last year alone we had a couple of world records broken by our junior under 19 in sprint and in endurance. So hopefully those guys and girls that are coming through will be representing again in 2032. We also had the experience of watching another proud moment. Watching Ollie Bledden, who was only with us a very short time. Came from WACE over to SASI. In the Olympic cycle, or just before Tokyo Olympics, I think, and then was able to sort of cement his position in the team leading into Paris, and then he won Olympic gold. So we've got lots of really good talent coming through the SASI cycling program at the moment, and we only need a few to get through, and it's very hard to reach the top. That is my biggest message to the athletes. So it's a long journey, and it's very, very difficult. Most people don't make it, but if you want it bad enough and you believe in it and you put in the hard work, then that's usually what it takes. Just a mental state that is on that trajectory that's going to take you exactly where you want to go.